Hello, hello. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador. Happy New Year. Can you believe it is 2026? In fact, I still can't believe it because I wrote a few checks this week and I accidentally put 2025. I think it takes me about a month to get rolling. So welcome everyone. We are live today and we've got a really fun special show for you today. You might have seen it, but it depends how long you've been hanging out with Brother. So before I get on to the show, it's all about organizing tips. It's a show that was watched so many times. We're bringing it back for today, a little edited. So we took out any lagging areas so you could just get all of the tips for sewing, organizing your sewing room. It was one of my favorites and I know it was one of yours. But before I do that, yes, I am live. I can see all your comments and questions and there's a couple news announcements. So first of all, if you received Brother's email, you might have seen a little blurb about this. Now, I don't have all the specifics, but I'm going to get as close as I can. And tomorrow on my live show, if you join me tomorrow, it's Ask Me Anything. So anything sewing related, embroidery, you name it, fitting, anything in the fashion sewing side, I'm going to take your questions. But there's something that Brother's doing super cool for the Avenir. First of all, yes, I see you all rolling in. Quick question. Did Santa bring you what you wanted from the gift guide from last year? Because I saw a lot of hashtags with Brother Sews. I always scan those to see what you're working on. And you ended up with a lot of good gifts. But if you didn't get the Avenir yet, Brother's doing something super special. So this is the word you have to remember. Wolf pack. You all know the wolf pack. If you're hanging out with me, you're part of the wolf pack. So if you have any sewing machine of any brand, and again, I have to get the exact specifics on this, but you can take that machine into your Brother dealer and trade it in for an Avenir and receive a $1,200 rebate. But you have to tell the dealer Wolfpack, and it could be any machine though. So I will get more specifics and bring it on my live show tomorrow, but that's a pretty cool thing. So any machine, any brand, any sewing machine, any brand, bring it to your Brother dealer, tell them that you're part of the Wolf Pack, and you may have $1,200 off of an Avenir. So that's pretty cool. All right, one of the other news things is I know a lot of you follow my website to find out what live shows are coming. So the website is back up. It's about 89%. It should be finished by tomorrow. So you can get back into that calendar and see what the live shows. But there's a Google Calendar that you, if not a Brother product, sorry, but there's a calendar there that you can subscribe to and you'll always know about all the live shows. So that's updated. Am I missing anything else? Let me see if I got any questions before I share this fabulous replay with you. Yeah, that is a good deal. Oh, Angie, I love your emojis. So cute. Yeah, so you have to use Wolfpack though. Don't forget about the word Wolfpack because that's the main thing if you want to have this. Now, I had to double check because I said, any machine? I mean, I have a machine that isn't worth very much, but I use it a lot. I mean, it's still worth a lot, but a couple $100. It is a Brother, but it doesn't have to be a Brother. It could be any sewing machine. Bring it to your dealer, tell them you're part of the Wolf Pack, and you want the rebate deal for $1,200 off of a new Avenir. So, and of course, they still have a lot of the bundles going on, my thread kit, the embroidery designs, all of that, and the master class. So there's a lot going on for that. And I'm really happy they do that. So let me see if you got any questions before I get rolling on the organization skills. Did everyone have a good holiday season? I missed you the last few weeks because we pre-recorded. Yeah, some of us, we all need a little vacation, right? All right, well, we are live, so I will monitor your comments and questions in the chat today. And I want to give you a big shout out for a Happy New Year. But what I'm going to play right now, and I hope it works. So I'm going to start it, and then I need your help. Let me know that you can hear it because I've edited this older video. This was from episode, I want to say, in the 300 range, 317, 314. It was the first episode in January. We had Sara Vetser, Jane Olsen, Barbara Jones, Tina Bartelmay, Colleen. I don't even think I got them all in the title. I think I might have missed someone. Hopefully I didn't. But anyways, they were all giving their organizing tips. It's one of my favorite shows. It's one of the shows that all of you have asked for. So I'm going to bring it up, but I want to make sure you could hear it okay. And then I will be in the chat with you. But I am live. So I'm live. The video's a replay from one of our favorites. Hey, Glenda. Oh, thanks, Andrea. Fabulous. All right, well, it's so great to see you all. So hold tight. Oh, yes. Send me a private message and I'll let you know what cabinet I have. It's not a Brother product, and it does fit the Luminaire and it does fit the Avenir. Woo-hoo. Okay, let me bring it up and let's see if it works. All right, so I hope you have your pen and pencil ready because you do not want to miss this. We are live streaming on Brother Sewing and Crafting Facebook and YouTube channels. We can see your comments. You'll be able to ask questions. And wait till you see this party. So let's bring the team up here. Hello, hello. Hi. Brother Educators, Barbara, Tina, Jane, Sarah. All right, I'm checking. Can you hear it? Because if you can't, there's no sense in playing it. Okay, let me make sure. I'll turn my mic off, make sure there's not an echo. So hold on, let me check one more time. Colleen, and all of them are going to take you into their sewing room and give you tips for how to everything from embroidery files to bobbins to stabilizer to we get to see Colleen's whole entire room. This is going to be so much fun. So say hi, say where you're from, and so happy to have you another year of At Your Side Virtually. So ladies, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I don't know about you, but in January is the organizing month. It's like the lists come out. I don't ever accomplish all of them. I just realized that last month when I'm going through. But the lists come out of organizing and things like that. And I don't know, there's so many tricks that everyone has. And every year I pick up a new one from one of you. So I'm very excited for this show.
I have my pen and paper ready, so I'm ready for some tips.
So basically, I have a few organizing principles, and if you spent time with me, you know I change my mind and reorganize about every 3 months anyway. But common tips are the things that I use all the time. I try and keep immediately at hand. So things like bobbins are by my machines, that kind of thing. I'm a big labeler, and I love my labeling system. So as I show you different things around my sewing studio, you see labels. Again, if I haven't remembered where I put something, the label will keep me straight. And then, you know, I'm blessed with a fairly large room, but I try and use all my vertical space as well because, you know, there's a lot of room from floor to ceiling that doesn't take up a lot of floor space. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start with my vertical storage. So I have tons of hoops and things. And so here's my pegboard system. And so for, you know, the multi-noodles, we have all kinds of accessories. And this makes it easy for me to find whatever I'm looking for. It just takes a second to find anything. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I may have a fabric problem. So fabric storage, and the other thing that I do, you'll notice as I show you things in my studio, I have a lot of closed door storage because that eliminates the visual clutter for me. It can be really bad behind the doors, but I don't have to see it all the time. So I have rolling fabric storage cabinets. Let's take a peek inside so you can see how I organize my fabric. So I sort out my fabric. I've got my quilt backings, and then everything else is organized by colorway. They're in clear containers, and then they're labeled. So when I'm working on a project, I can just grab the colorway that I need, pull out the fabric, and then pop it right back into that cabinet. So that works really well for me. I've tried lots of different things, and I'm real happy with this particular setup. Now, the next thing that ends up being challenging sometimes is thread. And so I actually use they're in the scrapbooking section of the big box crafting stores. So I use those containers for my thread. Thread's kind of heavy though, so my towers were leaning. So my husband built this little wooden cube around my little plastic storage bin, and it works great. It's on wheels. I can move it all around the room. I've got, again, my thread is sorted by colorway, and then my specialty threads like the metallics and the 60 weights are also in their own containers. So it's really quick for me to go in and grab threads when I'm working on a project. And then, you know, if you look inside of the bin, that's kind of what it looks like. So it just makes it quick and easy. I used to hang them on the wall, but they got dusty and I had some problems with them fading in the sunlight. So I'm actually really happy with the stuff now.
I love that, Tina. I love that. And you know, you're so right. Sometimes when they're on the wall, it's like, well, I'm always using my can of air to spray everything off. So much better.
Yeah, so that works for me. Stabilizers, again, you know, we do a lot of embroidery projects and we got tons of stabilizer. So I just made a really quick little containment system for the stabilizer. So the houndstooth fabric is an upholstery weight fabric. I got medium weight clear vinyl at the fabric store and made a series of loops. And then I just have bias tape across the top just to kind of keep it neat. And of course, they're all labeled. And here's a closer view. You can see I know exactly what my stabilizer is. And then the side view, in case you can't tell, there's the loop. So literally when I'm hooping, I just reach into the appropriate loop, pull out the stabilizer I need, cut it, and pop it right back in there. And that way I'm not walking all over the place trying to find my stabilizer.
That's
So-
amazing.
I love that. Tina, you're going to have to come back and show us how to make that. That is really fun.
Yeah, it's really easy. It's probably an hour project. So yeah, I've been real happy with that. I've had that for quite some time. You know, I don't know about the rest of you, but my cutting table is kind of mission central for me in my sewing room. So I actually, my sewing room, the previous owners of our house had it as a woodworking studio. So that kind of introduced to me the idea of using the kind of the tool kind of cabinets. And so they slide right up under my cutting table. All my rotary cutters are in the little storage thing on top. And I mean, I organize projects there. I hoop things there. I cut out my fabric. It really works well. And you'll see again the closed cabinet storage behind. I try not to look at my clutter any more than I have to. And again, everything's on wheels. So sometimes it's just me. Sometimes I have as many as 3 other people in here. So I have to be able to reconfigure my space pretty easily. So my whole studio is on wheels. And then of course I do a lot of vinyl with the scan and cut. So this is how I have my heat press area set up. Heat press is on top, and then all my adhesive and my heat transfer vinyls are in that big Husky cabinet on the left. And on the right, I have things like my pattern marking tools and notions and all the manuals for my machines. So, and my, snap setters, all that kind of stuff. So everything has a place. The labels, again, kind of keep me from forgetting where I put stuff. So I am a big fan of labeling. And then one of my favorite things, and I just figured this out maybe a year ago, is I was always using my iron, but I had to drag my ironing board and my iron all over the room, and I felt like I was wasting a bunch of time. So I just got one of these little 3-tiered rolly bins from like the craft store. My iron's on top. I've got my fusible tapes in the middle and all my dressmaker's ham and pressing cloths and stuff on the bottom. So now I can just put one of those pressing mats on a table if I want it, if I'm doing a quilting project, roll my iron over, and that portable iron thing has been awesome for me. I love that.
Okay. That hands down is one of my favorites. By the way, I have like those carts all over my studio. I use them for my cameras. I use them for all my dyed fabric, or, my little dyes all go into one. Those carts are like the best ever, but I never thought of doing an ironing section.
Yeah.
That's next level.
It's really handy. I'd really recommend you guys trying it. And then last up is organizing projects. So I'm guessing everybody on the call is like me. I find something beautiful, I buy it. It might be 6 months or 2 years before I get around to doing the project. And by then I can't find all the bits and pieces, right? So I just bought these little inexpensive I guess you call it a little, storage container. And as I buy things for the project, I put them in the bins. When it's time to do it, I just pull out the bins. So let's take a peek inside one of those. So when I'm ready to do this quilt someday, there's all my fabrics, there's my pattern. All I have to do is add batting to it and I'm ready to go. And that has saved me, I just can't tell you how much time and stress. I'm not running around looking for stuff at the last second.
That's a great idea.
So that's how I try and keep myself together and sane and productive.
Everybody's saying they love these ideas. Love these ideas. I don't know which one's my favorite. The stabilizer would have to be with that ironing station, are my 2 favorites. I love them all though, but those 2 are like the whoa, what a brilliant idea.
Thanks.
All right, let's see if we got Colleen back. There's some comments for you too, Tina, on here that I'll bring up. So Colleen, are you back to the party?
I am not. I can move around the room with my computer, but I can't get my cameras online, which is awesome.
Oh no. Oh,
Yeah.
that's because we're live. It'll work as soon as we're not live.
Well, exactly. But it'll also work as soon as my techno husband comes home to help me figure out what I did wrong setting up this morning. But so do you want to skip me, or do you want me to just jump in and move around the room with my computer?
It's totally up to you. Do you want to try it? We could take you out too, so we don't make everyone sick. Or I could leave you. We'll keep going through, and then maybe by the end the cameras will work.
Yeah, keep going through, and somewhere, somehow, he'll come home, and then he'll do it in 10 seconds.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Tina, by the way, everybody up here is saying, oh my gosh, they love what you're showing. You must come back and show how to do that stabilizer hanger. That's very cool.
I'd love to.
I guess we know what your project will be next month. All right, Barbara, many of us love to embroider, and I'm very intrigued how you organize all your embroidery files because mine are a hot mess. Hot mess. So give us some tips for that.
Okay, so I think I've been embroidering since 92, and over the years, I'm sure everybody has numerous amounts of embroidery designs that we buy at one time or another and think, oh, that looks good on a jacket, and then never get to use it. And then when you go to find it, you really can't. Because it's either on an older computer, it's on, let's just show you one of the sticks, one of my group of sticks here. Okay. All right, that's just one. I have more over here. I have more here. So, you know, after you figure 92 to 2022, that's a long time of collecting designs. So I finally got smart about it and started to use a more conventional method, which is an external hard drive. Does a couple things. Number one, they're all in one place. Number two, if something goes wrong with your computer, and I just was on the phone with a friend of mine yesterday who bought a brand new computer, top of the line, 2 terabyte, whatever, inside her computer, and the solid state hard drive went bad.
Oh.
She's lost everything. Everything.
Oh.
So, I mean, yes, I'm a little obsessive about designs. I'm also a little obsessive about double and triple backup. All right. I have had hard drives, external hard drives go bad. So that's, I got a lot of designs, you know, and I don't want to lose any of them. So
I love this idea, and I love what you just said, that you have 2, maybe 3 backups, because those drives do go bad. So do the USB sticks. And so sometimes if you have them in different locations, at least you're saved. But I love that you have them on one of those drives, because you could plug it into any laptop.
Anything. And what I've done with the latest one is I've made sure that it's duplicate to what I have at home, and then I can travel with it. So, you know, when I'm bored in the hotel rooms, when I'm traveling and teaching, I can further organize my designs. And what I actually do is every time I download a design from a particular vendor, I make sure that I have a folder for that vendor, and I put all of the designs into that folder. So if I'm looking for something from, you know, whoever I bought it from, I know that it's going to be inside her or his folder. So it takes a little bit of time to organize, but it's certainly better than the mess I have here. And I'm sure this is not all. I mean, you know, so, but it's, you know, it's my way of keeping things straight and safe.
I would love to know from everybody watching how many have a stash like that. Probably not too large, but that's how all mine are too, but they're all over. So I can't even find, and I have been looking and looking, and you're not only through time, I thought it was maybe on an old machine. Yes. I'm looking for my logo that I had digitized. I can't find it anywhere. It's probably on one of my gazillion sticks that you have there.
Well, it's funny that you should say that, because I pulled up the file that has the Brother logo on it. So there you go. I know exactly where my Brother logos are. So it's fun. And when Kim finally, you know, when she gave me this assignment, I was driving and I'm thinking to myself, what in God's name can I show that's organized? I work in organized chaos. I'm not as neat as Tina. I mean, I do have fabric bins and I do have different areas, but no, no, this is about as neat as it gets right here. So
Hey, we all have our own organized chaos.
that's
I
correct.
would say.
Yes, I do want that triple tier. So that's because my ironing board turns into a work table. And I have to clear it when I go to iron.
I like that little, and it has wheels. Hey, so
Yeah.
Brenda wants to know, so how do you know what's on each stick then?
Well, that was the challenge when I went to find something. I had to plug in the stick and take it out, plug it in, find it. So when I did the hard drives, I just pull up the listing of the hard drive, and it's easier. I don't have to keep putting in, the USB stick in and out. So I did sit, and again, that was my hotel project. I did sit in my hotels and copy every stick to my hard drive.
That had to take some time. Now, a
It
question:
did.
can you actually plug that into the machine
No.
and you have to put it still on a USB stick? But at least
Yes. The machine will take, I think I put, don't quote me on this, but a 64 gig in, and it takes some time to get up. It's going through all of the files, so you really don't want to put a big USB stick in or a hard drive like that, because the machine is trying to make a picture or organize and bring up all of your files together, and it can't handle it. So I stick with my 36 or 32 rather, or even a little less, doesn't matter. It's just a transfer thing. So I go from my computer, or I send it from the hard drive wirelessly to my machine.
Brilliant. I love this. Okay, so I'm going to work on that, because that was one thing for over New Year's, I always try to get organized. And mine aren't even on my hangers like that. I have like bags and bags and bags, and I never find.
Yeah, the third bag has all the ones that don't have little hangers on them. They're all the ones that are loose in there. Yeah, get it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so now we've got our sewing room, we're getting organized. We've got our embroidery files. Colleen is still, let's see if we are, how you doing, Colleen? Hers is not, she's still muted. All right, so is she coming back? We're still going to get a sewing room tour. She moves her laptop all the way around. You're going to see your room, Colleen. All right, I'm going to take her out.
Okay, I muted me so I wouldn't make any noise, but I did clean my room up so that you can actually see carpet. And my tech guy is on his way to help.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll just keep rolling. And then Colleen will be the last reveal. Grab a good cup of coffee. We don't want to be here for like 3 hours. I'm just kidding. All right.
Cheers.
So Jane, you have some organizing tips as well.
I do. Okay, so I love this idea that was given to me by a dear friend. And this is a pin cushion, and you can do these as gifts too, right? So you can monogram them and give them as gifts. But what the purpose of this would be is to, if you're embroidering away and you want to say, fix a pair of jeans, well, you're gonna take out your size 11 and put in maybe a 14 or a 16. So just pop in your 11 or your 12 and put it in that spot, fix your jeans up, take that one out, put it back in the container, and then pull the one that you used. This is just basically for lightly used needles. If you start sewing on an embroidery project, I highly recommend just replace the needle. You'll be so much happier with the results of your embroidery. But this was created in my design center. You can go into as much detail as you want. You can add ballpoint or universal or whatever type of needles that you may use, you can add that to it if you want. This is a little design that was built into the luminaire, and the whole thing was created in my design center. So it's an in the hoop project, very quick, and then you can gift them as well. So there's one.
So
All right.
that's a pincushion for anything. It could be for needles. It could be any type of pincushion.
Certainly, and you can put just regular pins in there if you want. Have a little spot for that. Sure, it can be anything. All right, so another thing, this is one that I have used for years. All right, go to your store and purchase just the seasonal, like after Christmas. These are after Christmas ones. Purchase them very inexpensively. It is a tablecloth. Now the top side is plastic, the bottom side has flannel. So what you're going to want to do is, for small spaces, or if you're traveling to a quilt retreat or whatever, you're working on a quilt, you don't have a design wall. So and so this is like a travel project, or just if you have a small space, lay out your quilt on the bed or whatever onto this tablecloth, design it, put your blocks as you like it, and then you can roll it up, and then you can bring it to your machine. So then you can start, as you're working on each row, you can unroll it and roll it from the bottom and work on it row per row, right? So, but with it being plastic on one side, then it doesn't, your blocks aren't going to stick to it, if that makes sense, right? You have your flannel and your plastic and you're rolling it, and then you just unroll it as you get to the area where you're working on that quilt. So you can lay it on your bed, lay it on the floor, roll it up, keep it next to the machine, take it on a quilt retreat. It's nice and portable. So if you have just a few minutes that you have to work on your quilt, just grab it, unroll it to that spot, sew a few blocks, and you're all set.
Oh my gosh, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah, it really comes in handy. Here's another one, is these little folders, and you can just organize your vinyl pieces, scraps, because it's contained. They're not going to slip out the side of a folder. And then because the Scan and Cut scans, you can keep all your tiny pieces into an organized folder. And then when you're looking for a small piece for a project, you can just go in. You can organize it by color, or you can organize it by lights, darks, heat transfer vinyl. So just have all your little pieces in one area that you can easily grab.
That's a good idea, because who knows, don't they have a little area at the top where you can like put labels, like maybe
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So heat transfer, you can label it vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, however that you like. Okay, so here's another one. This really isn't necessarily for the sewing room, but if you're traveling, what I like to do is, if you do any type of hand work, then I take the spool, and if I'm working, if I think I'm going to use a lot of that color, I'll put the whole spool in there. But if I just need a little bit for that project, then I wind it onto a bobbin. Then so it doesn't unravel and I have a little thread mess, I take these little tiny baby scrunchies and I just pop it over there. It holds the thread without it coming out. And then I put it into my container. So I have little small bobbins with the thread that I use the least, or for that project, right? So I have all my threads for a project right in this little container. I can take it on the plane with me. I have my little fold up scissors. I have beeswax and needle threader. I have all my little goodies, so that when I'm traveling or in the car or going to an appointment and I'm going to be waiting, I can have this little project ready to grab and can do some handwork wherever I am.
Oh, Jane, that's a good idea.
Okay, so another is you can purchase, and you can't really see it because it's clear, but you can purchase vinyl by the yard, and then I just cut it in these little strips, right? And then I wrap it onto a spool. This monofilament is very slick. So that's right. So what I do is I take that clear vinyl, wrap it around, and it helps to keep the thread on it because it doesn't have a spot where you can hook it in, right? So it's just, it has a mind of its own and goes crazy. So just put a little clear vinyl on there, and you can buy, you know, a quarter yard of it, and you'll have like lots of little strips, right, that you can put on your threads. So it kind of keeps them contained. Even if one of your spools broke, right, and it no longer has the bottom that holds your thread in, your thread end, then you can do that as well for that.
That's
So
Does
it's
that
just
oh, sorry about the echo. Does that vinyl then, does it actually just stick to itself when it wraps around?
yeah, it sticks to itself. So as you use your thread, you know, you take it off, tighten it up, and you're good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So then the other one, and probably there's a lot of people out there that do this already, but for those new embroiderers, as soon as I get thread, I like to number it. So if the color comes off the bottom, my little paper, if it comes off the bottom, then I have the number. And also I just keep it on the holder like that so I can see the color on the end. So if I'm looking for a particular color, it's easy to see that number as I'm looking. Right, I don't have to pull them off, kind of look on the bottom and read the bottom. I just look at the number on the top that I've marked. You could also write, you know, what brand you're using or whatever details that you want on it, the size of your the thread, 60-40 weight, you know, but I just put the number on there, and that helps make things go a little bit faster when I'm grabbing threads for a embroidery project.
Jane, that's a great idea. I got a quick question I'm going to bring up here that I'm just going to have you answer real quick. Is the quilt, when you going back to your tablecloth, is the quilt laid on the flannel side or the other side?
The quilt would be laid on the flannel side, and that holds it in place on the flannel side. And then as you're rolling it up, the plastic side wouldn't stick to it. So when you're unrolling it to work on it, the plastic side doesn't stick to the blocks, if that's making sense.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah. So then as you're working on it, of course, it gets smaller. You can get different size ones. So if you're working on, say, a baby quilt where you're not going to need the same size tablecloth for that project as you would for, you know, like a queen size or a twin size, right?
And that's great because you can take it to your machine and unroll it as you go. I use that quilt as my wall, but I have to take them off as I sew, and then I lose where I am across the rows or down the rows. I think that's a great idea.
It is. And also, what gauge vinyl did you use on that? Patricia wants to know.
This is a 12 gauge is what I've used. But if you have a project and if you have some on hand, it'll stick to itself. And then, because I don't think the gauge really matters as long as, you know, maybe you have some on hand that you can just use too.
So that's quite, oops, sorry, Tina. So this week on the show, I showed how to make a cover for a book, and I had all these little pieces of that vinyl. I just threw it in the trash. I'm going into the trash to dig. It's coming back out.
They're diving now.
Dumpster diving. Colleen, I think we see you.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yay.
I've got to Yes, tech support came. I'm back. Hooray.
Tech support. Good job. So before we go to Sara, let's go to Colleen and check out this sewing room of yours.
Okay, now you have to give time for tech support to get out of the room. And I'm gonna walk over here to a camera and then just move you all around the room as we go. My room is gonna be the room that you do economically. So mine's about how to set up a room and how to do it pretty economically. So I'm gonna start some of the things you've already seen. So I'm gonna start right here with the center, and you can see text right now. So I had everything plugged in, but not on the right side of the computer. Who knew that would make a difference? So this is the center island, and my center island is from a big box store. And I have it set up. Oh, I'll move my computer out of the way. Sorry about that. You can only imagine the terror I felt when this didn't work. So there's my cutting station. So it's my cutting and everything station. And my room is just built in a circle around the cutting station. And you'll understand why in a minute. Everything was done to be efficient and ready to grab. And one of my tricks that I'm going to tell you is about keeping your room clean, because I'm going to switch cameras. There we go. When I used to have very, very tiny amounts of time to sew, I found that if I would walk past my sewing room and it was clean with a part of a project sitting out, I would run in and sew for an hour before those teenage boys came home from school. So that's a big tip for me, is to just keep everything kind of as organized as you can. So there's a machine. We're going to walk over here to the next machine, and I want you to see this really it is separate pieces. 3 separate pieces with the lid on top is to make it easy to move. So in my case, my husband built the cabinet, but you could just as easily purchase 2 matching like little folding cabinet, you know, the kind that you can buy at any wholesale furniture store, and use those as your 2 bases, and then get a top for it. And then you have your own sewing cabinet that fits your height and size for what you need. So that's what I did. And that's been great for moving. My sewing room is in a standard bedroom in a standard house. And that's to accommodate the fact that we used to move a fair amount with the military. And so you have to just to be ready to pick up and go. So I do have, lucky me, I have 2 closets. So these are both good sized closets. They're not walk-in, but they are good sized. And then in the middle, yes.
Colleen, before you go any further, Donna wants to know, what was that cushion on your chair? We were like all spying that cushion on your chair.
Oh, those are from a local big box store. And they're just to boost you up to be more comfortable when you're in a car or in your sewing room. So your local big box store might have them periodically. You can probably get them at any office supply store. But I live really close to a big box store, so lots of my stuff comes from there. Then my next big thing to share is I have most of my stuff organized in just a standard chest of drawers. Again, I need to be ready to move, and I need it to be handy, but not to have clutter. So the top drawer is the stuff I need immediately. The second drawer, I'm not going to open the drawers because you don't want to see how that looks. The second drawer is all of the things that go to scan and cut that I can't keep in the scan and cut desk. And then the third drawer is my Disney fabric, and it's full to overflowing. But it makes it really easy because I could actually pull out a drawer if I needed to. So it's really a handy way. And then to move, of course, is just grab it and go. One of my major hints is to always put your machine where you want it first, and then do everything else around it, because your machine is the star of the show. So then this is the next, there's the other closet. So there's plenty of closet space, but never enough for a through sewer. And then here is my scan and cut, and my scan and cut stays up all the time. It needs to always be ready to go to work because I use it a lot. You can see my vinyl water bottle. Everything that travels with me has vinyl labeling on it, so that I'm at a show or someplace, I know that it's actually mine and not someone else, and someone else doesn't pick it up. I do a tremendous amount of vinyl on things like that. I also love my scan and cut for quick gifts. I know a couple of years ago we did one with the little PE design key holder, and there's just a lot of little fun things that you can do with it that make amazing gifts. And to me, I don't think I could live without scan and cut. It needs to be in here, not just for my quilting pieces, because I do love it for that. In fact, I had a customer at a show one day start to cry when I showed her how she could cut out all the leaves for the Tree of Life quilt, and it has 42 different leaves. And when I showed her how she could cut them on her scan and cut multiples at a time, I really thought she was going to cry. This is my ironing board, and it's a tall one, and it has a cover on it. And the reason that it has a cover on it is because I have a cat, and my cat loves to sit on the ironing board and help me sew, but I don't want any cat hair on any of my projects. So when it's covered, she gets on it and sits and supervises all the sewing, and then I just flip off the cover, and it is an embroidered cover so that I know the embroidery side is the right side up. It doesn't have to be as elaborate as it could be a sheet, but I don't want any cat hair on my projects that I'm taking to show in case someone can't handle cat hair. Down here on the floor, mine has to sit on the floor because it's so heavy. I noticed Tina had hers up, and that would make a lot more sense, but I have my little heat press is right there on the floor, handy to grab, and yes, I do sit on the floor to use it. And then I have blackout drapes, and the reason that I have blackout drapes is because one day I was going to do an evening class, and I didn't know I'd ever done an evening class before, so I didn't know that the sun would come streaming in there and blind everybody. So we were tearing through the house like wild people, covering the windows with blankets. Everything was fine. So I went out and bought these. Again, they're very, very, very economical at a big box store. They do provide insulation also, but the reason they're in this room is because the space is west and you get full evening sun, which will just fry you. And then we're going to come around again to my favorite, my flip stands, and my another chest of drawers. And this is easy to move, easy to get wherever you want, easy to keep organized. A drawer has a specific assignment. And now I'm going to try to duck under my camera and not block your view as I change positions, but I didn't do a very good job. And then this is another machine stand, and I'm going to slide it down so you can see what it is. I apologize for the red duct tape, but I forgot it was there. So this is a desk from a reclaimed furniture store. The plastic things were sold. It's an old school desk is what it is. It's an old teacher's desk. And it's great because it's got nice, really, really deep drawers. And I don't know that I can get a picture of the depth of it, but it's really, I mean, you can be quilting, and that is the equivalent of an ironing board and a half, the width behind it. And again, it's very, very easy to move. So my room is based on what we can move and be ready to do, shuffle things around. And the place I think where I started with you was on the PR and the Luminaire, and those two machines just stay where they are, and the other machines kind of switch around. I started with you on the cutting table because my cutting table is squarely in the middle, and I have space tucked underneath it. I have boxes. My stabilizer is vertical in boxes, so I can just look in and glance. I think I like Tina's drawers more, so I'm going to be out looking for a set of drawers that fit under this particular 4 by 2.5 foot cheap table. And mine is on booster feet. If you know what booster feet are for your table, I'm tall and I don't want to get a kink in my back when I stand over for cutting. So I'm going to just twist this around again so you can see the cutting table. I hope I don't make you seasick. I did make you seasick, but let me just, there we go. The room is set up differently than normal to accommodate clean spaces. No. So this actually has booster feet on it. And do you know what I'm talking about when I say booster feet?
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about those little things that go underneath that then you can move the stuff around? They're like little plastic things.
Yes.
Yeah, I have those.
They look kind of like an advanced butter tub, but of course a butter tub would never hold the table with everything I have on it. But it does, they do a marvelous job, and it makes it the right height for me. But that right height now gives me, and that's why I store everything underneath there. But that height now makes it so that I can do that. And Mike,
So-
those chest of drawers under there.
Colleen, there's just a couple questions for you. Betty, she's not seen that scan and cut that you had there. That's the new one. And she wants to know what scan and cut that is.
Okay, let's switch back to the other camera so you can get a closer look at it. And I'm gonna just pop in front here. I did not set my room up very well this time, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's great.
Okay, let's just twist right around here to where you can see her. Yes, she is very beautiful. And isn't she gorgeous? She has a lot of new tricks to her. Of course, they're going to do that. They're going to add new tricks when they bring one out. This one was brought out this year. And so she has the same cutting. Unless she's a she, it's because she's perfect. But she has the same cutting feel. She just has more features on her. And she speaks in a very quiet voice using Wi-Fi to your machine in that. So she can talk to the luminaire. If you have a design that you wanted to do an applique for, you can actually just send that to the, you can send it from the luminaire machine, and it will turn it into an applique file, cut it for you, and then those pieces will fit perfectly on the design in your luminaire.
Love that. And while you're there, that brother mat you have there,
Yes.
somebody wants to know, is that available if they can buy somewhere? I know of a brother dealer that carries those. There might be more. You could private message me on that, but I don't know, Colleen, if you have any suggestions. Does brother sell that on their site? Do you know?
I do not know. I
So
got it.
Marilyn, if you send me a message, I can send you a link to where I know that you can find them.
Yeah, they're very fun, and they're very, very good mats. They're non-skid and about 3/8 of an inch thick foam. So they're sound deafening and slip proof and very nice mats. You will enjoy it. Any other questions? Let me see what I
No,
was.
they're saying your room is amazing. Everybody's saying awesome, awesome. Arnell says she has too much stuff. So I think Ann on here, she said, I want to know how many of you cleaned your sewing rooms before this.
Oh, you know I did. Come on. But I of course I did. But I will say that I do try to keep it fairly tidy because that's what invites me in. And it, but you'll see clutter.
I
Definitely.
cleaned from here up. This is what I cleaned.
Well, if I don't know if you've seen these. Let me see if I can put this where you can see it.
Sharon, it's the SDX 330D. I just had to double check that. All right,
Yeah.
let's see.
I'm sorry, I could have told you that. I could have read it for you. Ooh, I put this down too low. I'm gonna put it on top so you can see it better.
Ooh.
So that is a coffee cup. Doesn't look like it, but it's a coffee cup with a thing around it that I bought at a tool store. And the thing wraps around in ties. So there's enough to hold inside to keep it stable. And then it has little pockets all around the outside for everything. So there's one of these by each of my machines. And yes, I have duplicates of stuff because it makes it easier to grab. But you can see I hold, nope, I'm too tall. You can see I hold the little pockets. And then the scissors and the sharp things I usually keep separated in a little pocket. But the brush that you need for cleaning, all those little things are just right there handy to grab. And this one, it has a handle or something. Well, it is just a coffee mug. You can take it anywhere you want. Because I'm too lazy to have 3 of them. But it's always got everything I need. And that way my sewing time is not interrupted. Like I said, I used to have a really finite amount of sewing time because with 2 teenage boys in the house, you don't get to do a whole lot.
I'm watching the show and I'm making a list. I can tell you exactly what each one of you girls are going to be showing on this show coming up from organizing. I love that mug too, Colleen.
Thank you. It's an easy project if someone wanted to make one. Those are actually purchased,
But they could be made.
but they could be made. And
I
they're
have agree with Colleen on you have to have your cutting table at the right height for you, so it just doesn't kill your back, because sometimes you're there for quite a while. And I purchased one of those rolly kitchen centers that was on one of those secondhand websites, and I purchased that. It's the right height for me to cut. So, and it has the drawers and everything. You can put your tools in, cutting tools in there, but that's the right height for me.
That's a good idea. I saw somebody on here saying they use bed risers too to get it the right height.
I like that idea, Jane. That's a good idea.
All right.
While we're talking about secondhand furniture and all that, I just wanted to mention also that my desk that I have back here is actually, I built it myself from kitchen cabinets that were left over from a construction project that someone didn't use. So building a desk yourself from like leftover materials is such a cool way to make a custom piece of furniture. So my desk stretches the whole length of my studio, and it has cabinets in between for storage. So it's always good to look for those secondhand places near you where you could find material like that.
That's brilliant, Sarah. Brilliant.
That's what
Colleen,
my sewing machines sit on too.
Yeah.
A kitchen countertop on top of discarded kitchen cabinets.
Yep. Exactly.
Great idea. Colleen, last question for you before I move on. Your machine there, is that on a cabinet?
Which the scan and cut?
Nope, your 10 needle or 6 needle.
The 10 needle is on the brother stand.
Excellent.
So, but I will. The cabinet that scan and cut is on is a computer table.
Oh.
So it's a little computer table that was designed for our son to take to college. He did
We just
which is perfect for grabbing your tools and not having them float around. But that was just a little computer table, and they're very, very super economical to buy.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you say that. That's something that I have in the corner back here. I have an L-shaped desk. I've had it forever. The thing is so old, but it has the two kind of like the computers that just roll out where you'd put, your keyboard. And that's where I put my pins, my scissors, everything, unless I'm serging so much and then they fall out. But usually they're there. Oh, very fun. So Sarah, yeah, you have some ideas, and I'll go back to Colleen here in a sec, but you have some ideas for bobbins. And I was watching so many people love the idea about the ponytails, things like that. Well, wait till you see this one from Sarah.
Yeah, so this is a really quick and easy one. Let's see if my camera is working here. Yeah, so I love to upcycle, and I love to do things the cheapest way possible. So instead of going and buying a bobbin organizer, one day I kind of just looked at an egg carton that I had laying around and realized that it was the perfect size to organize my bobbins. So that's what I've always used to organize my bobbins, and it fits really well inside of drawers too. So I have a bunch of like sets of 3 drawers, just like we've been looking at, from craft stores and all that, and it fits perfectly. You can usually even fit 2 of them right next to each other, and I just spray painted these to give them like less of an egg carton look. But yeah, they fit perfectly in the drawer, and then I organize them by color. So I have my black and my green, so I pull open the drawer and I can see exactly what color I need. And it's also really easy to write on them. So right there, I wrote 90, so I know that that's my 90 weight embroidery bobbin thread.
That's a great idea. When you showed this earlier, I was like, oh my gosh, that's something I even have in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's super easy. So I even have an extra egg carton here to show you guys. I can't really zoom out anymore, unfortunately, but I make some more room. So literally all I did was just rip off the top. And the cardboard ones, I definitely prefer those versus the styrofoam, although the styrofoam will work just the same. So you just rip off the top, and that's it. And like I said, I painted mine. So this one is, I spray painted it black, which makes the colors pop really nicely, but it will be hard to see a black bobbin in there. And this one I just spray painted white. So a bit of a different look. But obviously you can just leave it. Carton color, standard carton color. I know a lot of cartons sometimes are blue and pink, which is really nice. So whatever you want to use to match your sewing room, whatever makes you happy, you can customize it however you'd like.
I love this. And then they have the clear ones that have like triple. I'm getting a lot of ideas for this. And someone just said this would be a great way to store your buttons, your extra buttons.
Definitely. Yeah. That's a great idea.
They might even stack.
They definitely stack. Yes.
There you go.
Oh, never even thought about that.
Yeah. So there you go. And there are bobbins in there. So they stack with the bobbins in there. And yeah, that's a great point, Colleen. Thank you.
And
Or Bartelmay.
if you painted them with your spray paint, I think what you did was make them sturdier.
Yeah.
So they'll last even longer. I mean, not that they're not replaceable, but
Right.
yeah,
and yeah, if you're just putting little things in there, there's, I've had one for years already, and there's not much wear and tear that goes into just putting a bobbin in here. So, again, the cardboard one works perfectly for me, but any one that you would want to use would be great too.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Right, I'm back with you. Okay, that was the rundown of, in case you missed the beginning, the rundown of one of the most watched shows that we've had. This was from 3 years ago. I believe the episode was 317, but I'll double check. I kind of edited out some of the versions that, some of the camera issues, and there was some sound issues, but it still had such great tips. And as I've been live in the chat right now, and I see so many of you commenting on how you organize. And in fact, Amanda, I got to bring yours up here because this is really cute. Yeah, a lot of people are saying ice cube trays. Great idea. Absolutely great idea. And Amanda, this is what one of my friends came to visit my studio, and she gave everyone that as a gift. Those metal, you get them at the hardware store. Can't say the name because it's not a Brother product, but just go to the hardware store, the one that has like really inexpensive stuff, and they're like metal dishes, and it fits all your pins and all of your good stuff in there. It's a great way to organize. So I did have a couple questions from today's show, and I'll come on here and just make sure that I got them all. Glenda says it's episode 234 from 2022. Do you all realize that this March 2026, that will be 6 years of this show, 6 years of live hosting this show. For the first few months, we were live every day. Well, that wasn't really possible to do that anymore, but we're still live every Tuesday and Thursday. So let me just grab your couple questions. And then if you have more questions, bring them over to my show tomorrow. If you go to angelawolf.com, tomorrow is Ask Me Anything Day. It could be embroidery. It could be sewing, Fashion Sewing Club. We meet here at 2 today, and we're covering all the fashion trends. I'll give you one big hint. Guess what's huge? Not just for spring, but triple huge for fall of 2026. Yeah, my favorite, embroidery. Embroidery all over the place. So, well, you're going to love to see what I got to share. All right, here's a couple questions. Amanda, can you change the name on the SDX 330D? To what? What do you want to change it to? I didn't know if that was like a technical question or you were just asking if we're going to change it. I wasn't sure. And great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're not freezing up there. Elsa wants to know what light Colleen was using. I'll check with her. But I'm pretty sure she was using, I can't say the brand, but if you go to your local sewing shop, it's like a bar and it's LED. Really gives really good, accurate light. And the cup holder, Lorraine, I think it was just a wraparound cup holder. Do an internet search. I saw somebody here saying they've bought them on a couple sewing, websites. And I'll see you in Fashion Sewing Club, and I'll try to look it up before then too. And last couple, I love this. Lori says, if I moved everything out of my sewing room, I might be able to start fresh and get organized. I'm so with you on that. But I love these shows, magnetic trays. That's it. Yep. I know, Angie, it's been a long time. Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you all for being here. And now don't forget, I will get some more details before my live show tomorrow. But any machine that you have, if you're looking to get an Avenir and you want a $1,200 rebate from Brother, you must remember the word Wolfpack when you go visit your dealer, and you can bring in any brand, any sewing machine. Give it to your dealer and say, I'm part of the Wolfpack, and you will get $1,200 off of a purchase of the Avenir. And the Avenir still comes with my masterclass. There are embroidery designs specific to that machine that I have done, and a lot of other things too. So you can always message me if you have questions, but I'll try to get all the specifics before my show tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So, all right, everyone. Happy New Year. It's great to see you. I will see you Thursday. We've got a great show planned for you then. And hopefully I see you tomorrow. All right. Bye, everyone. Happy sewing.
Attach the embroidery frame in the initial sewing position.